Picture a woman. She's been with the same man for 8 years. Everyone says they're perfect together. Soulmates, even. They finish each other's sentences. They never fight. They move through life like a single organism. And she is dying inside. Not because he's cruel. Not because he doesn't love her. But because somewhere in those 8 years, she stopped being a person and became half of a couple. She gave up her art because it took time away from him. She stopped seeing her friends because they made him uncomfortable. She learned to dim her intensity, soften her edges, make herself smaller because that's what kept the peace. And everyone kept telling her, "You're so lucky. He's your soulmate." But here's what no one told her. Sometimes your soulmate is the person you need to leave to save your own soul. Before we go any further, if that opening landed in your chest like a stone, if you've ever felt trapped by the very relationship everyone told you was perfect, then please subscribe to this channel. Hit that like button. And when we're done here, leave a comment telling me, have you ever stayed too long because you thought they were your soulmate? Because your story might free someone else who's reading this tomorrow, wondering if they're crazy for wanting to leave their perfect match. Now let's begin. You've been taught to wait, to search, to believe that somewhere out there is a person who will finally make you feel complete. And this belief has cost you everything. It's cost you relationships with people who were wonderful, but not perfect enough. Maybe you met someone at a coffee shop in Seattle, or on a dating app, or through friends at a barbecue in Austin, and they were kind and funny and interested in you, but something fell off. They weren't quite right. Not quite the soulmate you've been promised. So you let them go, thinking this can't be it. The one is still out there. And maybe they were out there. Or maybe you just passed by someone who could have been incredible because they didn't match the fantasy in your head. This belief has cost you years of your life wondering if you've already met your soulmate and didn't recognize them. You torture yourself replaying moments. That person from college who you had that instant connection with, but the timing was wrong. That coworker who always made you laugh, but you were both in relationships. That stranger on the subway in New York who held your gaze for just a moment too long, and you've wondered about them ever since. You lie awake at 3 in the morning scrolling through Instagram, seeing everyone else's engagement photos and wedding announcements, and you think, did I miss my chance? Did my soulmate marry someone else? Am I destined to be alone because I didn't recognize them when they showed up? And worst of all, this belief has made you stay in relationships that are slowly suffocating you. Because you've convinced yourself that this person is your soulmate, and leaving them would mean abandoning your destiny, your one chance at true love. So you stay even though you haven't felt like yourself in years. You stay even though the spark is gone and you're just going through the motions. You stay even though you cry in your car in the Target parking a lot more often than you'd like to admit. Because everyone says you're perfect together. Because breaking up would mean you were wrong about them being the one. Because if you leave your soulmate, what does that say about you? You are exhausted from the pressure. The constant evaluation. Every date, every relationship, every person you meet gets measured against this impossible standard. Is this them? Is this the one? And if they're not, am I wasting my time? Am I missing out on my real soulmate? While I'm here with this person who's perfectly fine, but doesn't make me feel that lightning bolt of recognition that I've been told I'm supposed to feel? Let me tell you what's actually happening here. The world has sold you a fairy tale and called it spirituality. It has taken the beautiful truth that we are all connected, that love is transformative, that certain people resonate with us deeply, and it has twisted it into a prison of expectation. You have been told that soulmates are found, that they're predestined, that somewhere in the universe, before you were even born, someone was chosen for you. Your other half, you're missing peace. In your job, your only job is to find them. And when you do, everything will click into place. You'll never feel lonely again. You'll never question anything again. You'll finally be complete. But this is a lie. A profitable, culturally reinforced lie that keeps you small, desperate, and willing to sacrifice your growth for the comfort of certainty. Here is the myth they've sold you. Your soulmate is out there, and when you find them, you'll finally be complete. Here is the dark truth that spiritually awakened people know. The soulmate mythology is not romantic. It's a trap. It teaches you that you are incomplete, That love is about finding someone who fits you perfectly rather than someone who challenges you to grow. That relationships should be easy, destined, effortless, when in reality, real love is chosen, cultivated, and constantly evolving. The moment you abandon the soulmate myth, you become free. Free to love people for who they actually are, not who you need them to be. Free to leave relationships that are no longer serving you, without feeling like you're defying cosmic destiny. Free to be whole on your own, so that when you do connect with someone, it's from abundance, not desperation. Let me tell you about a man who spent 15 years with his soulmate. They met in college, University of Michigan, sitting next to each other in a philosophy class, ironically enough. Everyone said they were meant to be together. The connection was instant, electric, undeniable. They could talk for hours. They had the same taste in music, the same sense of humor, the same dreams about the future. They got married at 25 in a beautiful ceremony in an arbor with all their friends crying about how perfect they were together. And for 15 years, he believed with absolute certainty that she was his soulmate. He had no doubt. None. This was the person he was meant to spend his life with. Until one day, sitting in traffic on the freeway coming home from work, he realized he couldn't remember the last time he'd felt like himself. Not the version of himself he performed at work. Not the version he was with her, but actually himself. The person he was before he met her. The person who had dreams that didn't fit into their shared life plan. He'd spent 15 years molding himself to fit her expectations. Her anxiety meant he couldn't take risks. He'd want to start his own business, but she needed the security of his corporate job. Her need for routine meant he gave up spontaneity. No more random road trips. No more last-minute concerts. Everything had to be planned, scheduled, approved. Her discomfort with emotions meant he learned to suppress his feelings until he couldn't access them anymore. He became the calm one, the steady one, the one who never got upset, because that's what she needed. And he loved her. He did, deeply. But he wasn't himself anymore. He was the version of himself she needed him to be. And because he believed she was his soulmate, he thought that's what love was supposed to be. Sacrifice. Compromise. Shrinking to fit. He thought, this is what it means to be mature. To be a good partner. To honor the cosmic gift of finding your soulmate. You make it work. You adjust. You become who they need you to be. Because destiny doesn't make mistakes. If she's your soulmate, then any unhappiness you feel must be your fault for not trying hard enough. When he finally left, after 15 years, after countless therapy sessions, after finally admitting that he'd been slowly disappearing, everyone was shocked. His family couldn't understand it. His friends thought he was having a midlife crisis. And they all said the same thing. But you were soulmates. How could you leave your soulmate? And he replied, that's exactly the problem. I thought being soulmates meant we were supposed to fit perfectly together. So I spent 15 years cutting off pieces of myself to make that true. I thought if it was hard, if I was unhappy, it meant I was failing at recognizing my destiny. So I just kept trying harder to be the person she needed. And in the process, I lost myself completely. This is what the soulmate myth does. It's a double bind, a trap with no exit. On one hand, it makes you think that if the relationship is hard, if you have to change, if you're not happy, then this person must not be the one. So you leave perfectly good relationships, chasing the effortless, destined feeling. But on the other hand, it also makes you think that if you believe strongly enough that someone is the one, then you should tolerate anything, sacrifice everything, stay forever, even when it's killing you. Because if you leave your soulmate, you're not just ending a relationship. You're defying destiny. You're throwing away your one chance at true love. You're admitting that you were wrong about the most important decision of your life. So what actually is a soulmate, if not this fairy tale we've been sold? Let me tell you what spiritually awakened people understand. A soulmate, if we must use that word at all, is not someone who completes you. It's someone who mirrors you. Someone who reflects back to you the parts of yourself you need to see. Sometimes those are beautiful parts. Sometimes they're the parts you've been hiding from. A soulmate is not someone who makes your life easy. It's someone who catalyzes your growth. Someone who challenges you. Someone who won't let you stay small and comfortable. And here's the part that will upset the romantics. You can have many soulmates in one lifetime. Your best friend from high school who taught you what loyalty means. Your first love who broke your heart and taught you what you will and won't accept. The stranger you met traveling who asked you one question that changed your entire life trajectory. The mentor who believed in you when no one else did. These are all soulmates because they all touched your soul. They all changed you. They all showed up at exactly the moment you needed them to push you toward who you were becoming. But we've taken this beautiful truth and turned it into a scarcity mindset. The one, your other half, the person you're supposed to find and hold on to forever no matter what. And this mindset is destroying people. I see it everywhere. People in their 30s, 40s, 50s, still single and terrified that they missed their chance. People in relationships that stopped working years ago, but they can't leave because what if this person is their soulmate and they just haven't figured out how to make it work yet? People who have built entire lives with someone and are miserable, but they made a commitment and they believe in destiny and they're trapped by their own belief system. Let me tell you what changes when you release this myth. Everything. You stop evaluating every person you meet against an impossible checklist. You stop having first dates where you're already trying to figure out if this person could be your forever, if they check all the boxes, if this is the one. Instead, you just meet people. You connect. You see what unfolds. You stay curious. You don't need to know on date one if this person is your soulmate. You just need to know if you enjoy their company, if they make you think, if they make you laugh, if you feel more like yourself with them or less. You stop staying in relationships that are suffocating you just because you once believed this person was your destiny. You give yourself permission to grow, to change, to realize that the person you were when you met them is not the person you are now. And that's okay. That's not failure. That's not defying destiny. That's being human. People evolve. Relationships evolve. And sometimes people evolve in different directions. And that doesn't mean anyone did anything wrong. It doesn't mean you were mistaken about them being important to you. It just means the season has changed. And here's the most liberating part. You stop passing by beautiful connections because they don't feel magical enough. You know that feeling, right? You meet someone who's wonderful, kind, funny, interesting, but there's no lightning bolt, no instant recognition, no feeling of, oh my God, this is it, this is the one. So you friend zone them, or you stop texting back, or you tell yourself, they're great, but I just don't feel that spark. And what you're really saying is, this doesn't feel like what I've been told a soulmate is supposed to feel like. But here's what you don't realize. The best relationships, the deepest love, often doesn't start with fireworks. It starts with comfort, with ease, with a slow building recognition that you actually like this person. Not just attracted to them, not just excited by them, but genuinely like who they are. And that liking deepens in a love that's more stable, more real, more lasting than any lightning bolt first date could ever be. I want you to think about the couples you know who have been together 20, 30, 40 years and still genuinely like each other. Ask them about their first date. Most of them will not tell you a story of instant cosmic recognition. They'll tell you about how they became friends first, how they kept showing up for each other, how they chose each other every day, how they built something together. That's not less romantic than the soulmate story. It's more romantic because it's real, because it's based on actual compatibility and shared values and conscious choice, not on the desperate hope that the universe has already decided this for you. Here's what spiritually awakened people know that no one wants to tell you. Love is not found. It's built. Connection is not destiny. It's work. The right person is not discovered. They're chosen. Every single day. And that's so much more powerful than the soulmate mythology because it means you have agency. You have choice. You're not a passive participant in your own love story, wandering around hoping the universe will deliver your missing piece. You're an active creator. You're building connections. You're choosing people. You're saying, I see you, I choose you, not because the stars aligned, not because some cosmic force predetermined this, but because I genuinely want to walk through life with you. And when it stops working, when you've grown in different directions, when the relationship is no longer serving either of you, you can leave. Not with guilt, not with the crushing weight of having defied destiny, but with gratitude for what was, clarity about what is, and hope for what comes next. You can say, "Thank you for this chapter. Thank you for the growth. Thank you for showing me parts of myself I needed to see. And now it's time for us both to move forward." That's not failure. That's spiritual maturity. So let me leave you with this truth, and I want you to speak it out loud, right now, wherever you are. I am not incomplete. I am not searching. I am already whole, and my love is a choice, not a destiny. You do not need a soulmate to be complete. You need to become so complete within yourself that when you meet someone, you're not looking for them to fill you. You're inviting them to witness the fullness that already exists. You're saying, "I'm whole. You're whole. Let's see what we can build together." Not because we're meant to be, but because we choose to be. And if you never meet that person, you're still whole, still complete, still worthy of the love you've been giving away while waiting for someone to complete you. The love you've been reserving for your soulmate, give it to yourself first. Give it to your friends. Give it to your work, your art, your community. Give it freely without the prison of expectation. Because the secret that spiritually awakened people know is this: when you stop searching for your soulmate and start living as a whole person, love finds you anyway. Not because it was destined, but because wholeness attracts wholeness. Because people who are complete within themselves are magnetic. Because there's nothing more attractive than someone who doesn't need you, but genuinely wants you. If this shattered something in you, if it broke open a fantasy you've been holding on to and left you feeling both devastated and strangely free, then I ask you to do something brave. Leave a comment below. Tell me, have you ever stayed in a relationship because you thought they were your soulmate? Or have you passed by someone wonderful because they didn't feel destined enough? Not for me, but for the person who will read your words tomorrow and realize they're not alone in questioning everything they've been taught about love. And if you want to continue dismantling the lies we've all been sold, to think more deeply about what love actually is when you strip away the mythology, then subscribe. Stay. Question everything with me. Not because I have all the answers, but because the questions themselves might be the most loving thing we can offer each other.